Praise be Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. It's gone DVD founder Srila Prabhupada ki. Namacha Srila Haridas Thakur ki. Host Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Srila Radha Krishna Prabhu Bhakti Shri Radha Krishna Prabhu Chama Kundara Prabhu Giri Govardhan ki. Srivandavandam ki. Srivadhiradam ki. Srimayapur Navadip Dham ki. Shri Jagannath Puri Shri Kshetra Dham ki. Ganga Mai ki. Jamuna Mai ki. Bhakti Devi ki. Tulasi Maharani ki. Samarita Bhaktavinda ki. Yugadharma Harinam Sankirtan ki. Transcendental Abhidhamma Book Distribution ki. Transcendental Prasadam Distribution ki. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the Son of Hare Krishna. All glories to the Son of Hare Krishna. All glories to the Son of Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Can't hear you guys. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Oh, thank you. Good to see all of you. And today I'm thinking of going into. I'm going to skip a few lessons, but we'll come back to that later. So I'm going to serving and honoring Prasadam. Something is very close to all of you. Your hearts. Anyway, before we start serving and honoring Prasadam, you have to first cook the bhoga. So, cooking means, actually in this form, Prabhupada said our religion is kitchen religion. So, Prabhupada says by giving people Prasadam, their hearts get purified and then they are able to understand Krishna consciousness easily. And so it all begins in the kitchen, and the kitchen is non-different from the temple room. It's an extension of Sri Krishna's, or you can say Balaram's energy. So, and the kitchen is the domain of Srimati Radharani. Okay? So that means the kitchen must be well taken care of. It must be clean. It must be free of pests, rodents, etc. Every week or at least once a week there should be a proper cleaning of all the bhoga items, the utensils, the drawers, everything should be taken out, cleaned and put back. And if there are pests infestation, then it's going to be very difficult. Then because they may pass stool into the food items, there may be a lot of problems. Hygiene. Yeah. So it is important to have a clean kitchen, not just only in the temple. Your own home kitchen also must be well taken care of. What else? Once a month, you should make sure that you clear all the grease straps, the hood, like the exhaust hood in the kitchen. You have to strip it apart, wash it, get rid of the oil stains, grease stains. All those must be done. Right? Sometimes you wash on the bottom, but you don't wash on the top of the cupboard, the cabinets. So you use your finger and you go and you find there may be dust or grease and dust. So sometimes you find that you haven't cleaned the spot for years. So that attracts insects, attracts other living entities, and so they may contaminate the bhoga that is going to be cooked and offered to Krishna or Gaura. The kitchen must be well taken care of. You can't say, let's say you come to the temple kitchen and you see there's something not clean. What would you do? Or I should say, what should you do? Huh? But do you do it? Yeah, why? That means you don't have the consciousness. I should say you don't have Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada say Krishna consciousness means even if you see a dust, a few pieces of paper or whatever in the temple, you should immediately pick it up. So similarly, if you walk in the kitchen and see something is dirty, you should clean it. That is goodness. That is sattva guna. That will make you more qualified to go back to God. If you're going to ignore it, then Srimati Radharani will also ignore who? Yeah, ignore you. Then how can you go back to God? So it's very important. Anyone who walks into the kitchen must feel, wow, this is an amazing place. You should be able to live in the kitchen. Right? So take very careful consideration about what I'm saying and then try to implement in your kitchen. And that's one thing. The second thing is the devotee who is going to prepare the bhoga for the Lord should be clean. That means freshly taken a shower and also fresh clothing because you're offering to the deities, right? Especially in the temple. I do not know the standards you have at home, that's up to your consideration. But remember, the highest standard is you should take bath before you cook. The cooks should cover their head, ideally, and so that the hair or some things don't fall in. Of course, if you can cover your mouth, it's okay. But generally, if you cook, you shouldn't talk. Alright? You should not talk. Don't unnecessarily talk. If you have to talk, then when you're cooking, move away, then you say something, come back. Or you can talk like that. These are some of the practices you should try to inculcate in your life. If you can, but if you think it's too bothersome, then you are not qualified already. That means you are not a Brahmana. Two things Prabhupada mentions. Brahmana means cleanliness and punctuality. So for temple, let's say the offering is at 6, that's for example, 6 o'clock. So then you must come at least 4 o'clock to prepare and cook nicely. But if you come at 5:30 and then do bra boom bam and then offer, that's not devotion. That's not the right etiquette. That's like, it's an inconvenience. Krishna, you caused inconvenience for me, And so that's a no-no. Because you want to please the deities, you want to please the devotees. And if you rush through, what happens to your cooking?
Doesn't turn out to be nice.
Doesn't turn out good. You don't have a microphone. That's fine. It's okay. Doesn't turn out good because, yes?
He's cooking the mode of passion.
You're cooking in the mode of passion. If you cook in the mode of passion, what will you do? You will end up
Burning the food.
Okay, burning the food, very good. What else? Stress, anxiety while cooking. Okay, stress and anxiety while cooking. What else?
Not balancing ingredients.
Not balancing ingredients. Okay. Okay. No proper consciousness mentioned there. What else?
Too much salty.
Yes. spicing is all off the charts. Yeah, too much oil, too much ghee, too much sugar, too much salt. Who are we cooking for? That consciousness must be there. You're getting an opportunity to cook for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the entire creation. And if you don't have that thinking process in your hearts, then you are in big problem. If you cook nicely, then your consciousness also will be very enhanced, because when you cook nicely, you also want to serve nicely. Yeah. If you cook in a rush, you're thinking about yourself. Most people come and they want to cook fast because they want to go back to material world. Our motto is go back to Godhead. But where they want to go? That doesn't make sense. Here we are, we preach saying back to Godhead, but then you're rushing through the service and so on. The consciousness is not right. It is not conducive for becoming a better person, a better devotee. And so it's imperative that all of you think carefully. Any service you do, you should ask yourself the purpose behind that service. Who am I pleasing to? What is the principle?
Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna.
Okay, always remember. So that means you have to please Krishna and never forget that you have to make him happy. Or Srimati Radha, she's watching. Right? So cleanliness is important. Make sure your fingernails are all cut. Wash your fingernails, or wash your hands. That's why you have to take bath. When you take bath, you make sure your fingernails are clean. Sometimes it may not be too long to cut, but it may be too short to, but there may be dirt also. Huh? Yeah. So clean properly, and then come with the right consciousness. Generally, we recommend that if you're in the kitchen, you can listen to Kirtan or Srila Prabhupada's class, and then you can cook. Your consciousness is good. Otherwise, if you don't have Kirtan, your mind is going to run. Oh, my boss said this, I hate it, take so much salt and splash. Right? Right? Yeah. Or, you forget about something cooking, pakoras, then it become like charcoal. Right? Or you make halwa and you put salt in it. Right? So labels must be properly done, even between salt and sugar, because sometimes they look the same. Right? But make sure that you label both the lid and the container, because people can switch the lids around. Because the cooks are so good, they take out all the lids and then they spice everywhere and they don't know which lid goes to which one. Right or not? Yeah. When you do that, it means you are in the mode of passion. Actually. The other thing is when you're cooking, you should wash and clean as you're cooking. You should try to cultivate that. That's the best one, the best way to do it. And if you have a helper, as you cook, you tell the helper to clean like that. And it makes for easy, stress-free cooking. Plan yourself. Even before you come to cook, you plan what you want to cook. A day before, 2 days before. And you check the boga room to make sure you have the boga. Don't come on a Monday if you're cooking on Friday and see, oh, this is the boga there, and go and then plan. Then when Friday comes, no more boga. Right? And then you start cursing like Ravana. Right? So don't do all those things. Generally, if you if you check the boga, and then if you want the boga, you can at least take the amount you need to cook, and you can put in a bag and put a label if it's possible, and say, I'm using this for Friday offering. If that's not possible, the other thing is, most of you are working, you can buy your own boga and bring. Yeah, stress-free, really stress-free. And then the cooks, once you finish, clean properly. Don't leave. Prabhupada say a Brahmana will leave the place cleaner than he found it. So who's a Brahmana here? Yeah. It sounds interesting, but this is the consciousness we want to develop. We want you all to elevate. Otherwise, no point taking Brahmin initiation. You can have the string and still be a Shudra. It doesn't work. Huh? You cannot artificially put a stamp on your forehead and say you're Brahmin. No, it doesn't work. You have to act on that principle. Right? Okay, good. So now, having cleaned the kitchen, you've cooked, the offering's gone to the altar, and you've transferred everything, and you step back and look at the kitchen before you leave. And say, is this how I'm going to leave the kitchen? Am I satisfied? Is it within my control to do any more better or not? Right? And then you can go peacefully. The Super Soul is with you. He is also watching. And then when if you are serving, then you also feel happy to serve also. Okay, any comments, questions, or things I missed? Yes.
When you said about the pests at the beginning, when you said about pests, like in the kitchen, what if, let's say there was like an infestation somehow, like outside the kitchen, but the bugs come inside, maybe through a hole in the window or something, and there's no way of getting rid of them, so the only possible option is extermination. Would you get karma for that?
Well, you know, that when your kitchen is on the ground floor, you cannot avoid these things, but you need to call pest control if it's an infestation. If you know other way you can keep it clean, then you call the pest control. Yeah, there will be some reaction, but you're not doing with an intention. If they keep coming, although you try to do natural methods of clearing them and they still come, then you have to take the ultimate pest control. Yeah. And then you before you do that, you put some prasadam out there. At least they take prasadam back. We had a problem once where the construction was going on in the temple. So part of the temple was broken, and then the elements are open. And so rats started coming into our temple room. And then in the night when we put the deities to rest, the rats would go inside and they will climb on the deities. If they have garland, for example, in the afternoon when they are resting, the deities of the garland, so the rats will go on the garland and eat the petals and so on. So we see petals everywhere, and we see sometimes rats do that. And we tried in so many ways to catch the rat, we could not. So finally, we found out that most mouse or mice and rats, they like peanut butter. So we offered the peanut butter, put it in a trap, and then we caught it. Yeah. Unfortunately, the rat died. It was one of those sticky traps. But we caught it. So the intent wasn't to kill. We tried different natural methods, safety, all the traps and so on. The rat is like, you can do what you want. I'm not getting on. But finally, with the peanut butter, we caught the rat. Unfortunately, And similarly, if the kitchen is not fixed properly and so on, it must be fixed if there's holes and so on. And you shouldn't let it. A stitch in time saves nine. That's an old saying. So if there's a small hole or something, you fix it. Otherwise, it gets bigger and bigger until, gateway to some other star system. So we patch like that. And what else? Anytime the devotee sees any problem, they should highlight it to the management. Say, you write it in a note, and so the management has a list of what the problem is. And then they have to take it.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. What about restaurants? You see, like our restaurants, so once a year we call the specialists to come, because one of the most difficult to control is cockroaches.
Yes.
Because we are buying things from other people, the boxes and this and that, Sometimes a veggie also has cockroaches because they are taken from the place. It's also infested.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes to a restaurant.
Okay, so we in our temple we call the pest control once a month. Otherwise, the cockroaches you can't control them. If the cockroaches are in, I don't know about the walls here, but in US it's all sheet rock. It is like a 3/4 inch, and then it's empty. The walls are in between, and once the cockroaches get in there, they are like having party every day. You can't get there. So then you have to call the pest control. So 6 months is too long. 1 year is not good. You need to have them come on a routine, and then they will clear it. And once the infestation is cleared, then you have to be very careful, and then you can make sure it doesn't go back the way it is. Everyone should be very observant and seeing insects or pests coming in. For example, if you have water in the kitchen all the time, the cockroaches infestation cannot be reduced, because a single cockroach can live in 1 drop of water for 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks they can generate so many generations of descendants. Guru Parampara. So it has to be very. You have to do it. You pay for it and you do it.
Still talking about like bugs and stuff. If you I know because I was making salad, so we got a lettuce, and in the lettuce, in one of the inside pieces, there was like a bug.
Mm-hmm.
It was already dead, but it was on the leaf. So with like those kind of things, when there's bugs in the vegetables or whatever, that whole part, you just offer it, throw that whole thing in the bin.
It depends what kind of bug it is. Unless you like to eat the bug. Some people do. Sometimes even in the grains, like powder, like in the chickpea flour, sometimes we find cockroaches also. And people say the pakoras are very crunchy for that thing. So yeah, get rid of it.
No, I mean like, as in, is it okay to like wash the thing?
Yes.
And then, or do you just throw that whole
Depends
like,
on what kind of, if there's bugs with eggs on it, then you throw the whole piece away. But if it's just a crawly bug, you can throw the leaf. If it's a snail, sometimes just throw the whole leaf away, and then you can wash it. Okay, that's, yeah.
So in your temple you do like once a month.
Yes.
Is that recommended for everyone?
I don't know, ask your pest control. Because they came, they assessed, and they say this is the best that we should do, and we do it. We have a restaurant also, so they come once a month and they set traps, they spray and so on.
We do it once a year, but then on off year we do some spraying ourselves.
yourself, right? But what you use and what they use is not clear. See, when they come and clear, it's very good. It may reduce the population down to 50%, right? And what you do may only reduce 10%. So get them to certify it's pest-free, then you can do the maintenance. But we find if they do the maintenance, it's much more easy. Okay, let's go. Serving and ordering prasadam. Srila Prabhupada's letter to Dayananda. I like this very much. Our chanting is the medicine and our prasadam is the diet for curing material disease. So make nice prasadam. So all of us will be cured from our material diseases. When a devotee distributes prasadam, remnants of food offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in order to maintain our spirit of devotional service, we must accept this prasadam as the Lord's grace received through the pure devotees. Now this is very important, mainly because there are devotees who will only, they may take prasadam but on and off. Sometimes they don't offer, sometimes they eat outside and so on. So we'll come to that later. We already came. One should only eat prasadam. There should be no excuse. Once you know the benefits of taking prasadam, you should take only prasadam. That means you must take food that is offered to Krishna. Right? It's either vegetarian food or vegan food offered to Krishna. It could be, it's not, when I say vegetarian, it's lacto-vegan. Okay? Not ovo-lacto-vegan or ovo-vegan. There is no eggs. And wherever you go, whether you're going on a work trips, you take, and sometimes you say it's so difficult and so on. That's not a good excuse. If you can't get prasadam in a city you go, then you can buy fruits. You could buy milk and you can offer to Krishna. And take that. You won't die if you didn't eat prasadam. They need cooked food for 1 or 2 days. Right? Yes?
Yes.
Yeah. We all sound like a demon. Right? Yeah, so make sure you do that. So only eat prasadam. If someone brings you some plate of food, you should ask. Now, let's say they are not devotees and so on. What would you do then? Maybe it's your relative, your grandmother made something for you. Vegetarian. Yes.
We can offer it in front of them. We can show them how to offer it.
Okay. One thing is, if they are not against offering, you can show them how it's offered. Or
Mentally offer it.
yeah, you mentally offer it to Krishna, to your spiritual master, and then you can take it. Actually, even Srila Prabhupada does that. He used to do that. Okay, so this is very important for all devotees. If you eat outside, you will not practice Krishna consciousness strictly. Guaranteed. Yes.
So what about I heard from some senior devotees who say this Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. Is that okay?
Did you all hear what he said? Okay, so you don't do Sri Vishnu when you have the Hare Krishna mantra. Right? You can just chant, better to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. My dear Srila Prabhupada, please, I'm in this situation, I'm offering this, kindly accept it so that you can ask Krishna to bless it and we eat thereafter. Right? The one of the arguments I also asked, I haven't read it anywhere, you can just say Sri Vishnu, take it. I also was thinking 1,000 Vishnu name is equal to 1 Ram, and 3 Ram is, in terms of potency, is equal to 1 Krishna. So why not chant Hare Krishna? Offer it mentally and chant Hare Krishna 3 times. Is it so hard to chant Hare Krishna? Okay. Yes.
There are certain things
Hare
Yes.
there are some, sometimes we can't make bread at home. We buy bread from outside, cereals sometimes.
Okay, so you offer it.
Okay.
But learn how to make bread. It's not that hard. It's not hard. You should learn. Certain things you can make, you should do. You should try to learn. It's not really that hard. Even cereals you can make. Yes, please.
Actually, how the bread is very easy to make in our machine. You just
Yeah.
use that.
Buy a bread machine. Yeah.
Buy the machine.
Invest in a bread machine. Yeah.
It's quite common, this bread machine. I see there are a lot of.
How much are they now?
The machine, I think, $300.
Okay, anywhere from 200 to 300 Australian dollars.
But now maybe it's gone down.
Now it's cheaper, he says. But with the tariffs, maybe it's the same price. It's probably the same price. But anyway, you can learn on your own how to make, or get a bread machine and do it. Yeah? They all work.
Or come for a bread lesson.
Okay, Hema Krishna is going to organize some baking classes. Yeah, very good. I think you and Ganesham should get
Or we can
together.
just go to Vaishnava Prabhu's house.
Yeah. Alright. Okay, let's go. Ideally, one should eat food that is cooked by devotees. This is the first class. Okay? Cooked by devotees is first class. Right? So try to, if you have to, I know some devotees when they go on work trips and so on, their wives make the chapatis they make, and then they cook it until it's like crusty, like a biscuit. What, kakra, whatever they call it. Huh? Tepla, okay, tepla also, right? So they make all these things. Crackers, yeah. So then they just eat that, yeah. And then they buy fruits and so on, milk and so on. So first class is cooked by devotees. Second class is cooked by family members, not a devotee, but is favorable. Third class is cooked by outside person. Fourth class is cooked by some karmis, some simple people. When you go to a restaurant, oh, this is a vegan restaurant, vegetarian restaurant, but the guy who's cooking, the chef, could be a serial murderer, right? Or a rapist, and you're taking the karma. I have seen videos where the cook in restaurants, one of the customers was very angry with the dish they made. It is not done properly, take it back, tell the chef, I don't want it. So the hostess brought it back to the chef, and the chef got even angrier. Said, oh, does he think he threw it on the floor, jumped on it, damn, and then put it back on the plate and say, it's well done now. And send it back. So these things happen, so you do not know. You're eating there in the restaurant, nice music, oh wow, cool, man. Yeah. And then you are stuffing your face with something. And in another video I saw the chef urinated on the food and sent it back.
Some they even spit on it.
And they spit on it.
Because they complain.
Yeah.
They complain.
Exactly.
They're angry.
They spit, yeah. So sometimes if the food is too salty, you know why it is. It's possible. Have a good restaurant, visit next time.
I think the next few months the devotees won't go to
Until the next Vaishnava Etiquette. Refresher.
Okay, it should be offered to the Lord by devotees. Just like pujaris at home, you offer it. Served by devotees. This is all first class. That's why during Sunday days we try to have the devotees come and serve. You should volunteer to serve. This is part of our service. We always serve others. Okay? Remember that Krishna Prasadam is non-different from Krishna. And you can recite these prayers, Sarivaya Vidaja prayer, to remember that. Right? Prasadam is not different from Krishna. So, like I mentioned the other day, when you come for festival, sometimes you make a plate. If you make too much, you can't eat, then you throw away. So it's not good for you. So don't do that. Always understand how much you can eat, and if you take too much, try to keep it or eat it the next day. But don't take too much if the next day is Ekadasi. Because then when the baking class day comes, you will cook some other feast and throw away the previous one. So just bear in mind, some principles. Okay, we've gone through these. Use the right hand to eat and drink, because it's auspicious. Or if your kid is left-handed, train them to eat and drink with right hand. They can do anything else with their left hand. Okay. This is for those who are a bit more advanced. Meditate how Krishna tasted the offering. So before you eat, you look at the prasadam that is in front of you, then you think, this is in Chaitanya Charitamrita if you read, that one should actually meditate and see how did Krishna eat this. And then because sometimes you eat it so tasty, because it has been tasted by Krishna. You should meditate, wow, Krishna tasted this. And sometimes you may take an offering and it may not be to your taste. But you can still meditate and think, my poor Krishna, he also must have suffered. Right? Well, that is meditating on Krishna. And if you're always conscious like that, you will never cook a bad preparation. Guaranteed. Yeah. But if you're unconscious, that's where all the problems come. That's why our movement is known as Krishna conscious movement. Okay? Do not talk while honoring prasadam besides glorifying Krishna and his prasadam. Otherwise, what will you all talk? What's happening around the world, right? Stock market, right? Interest rate go up. My bank balance is small. My shares are gone. All those things. This is normal talk. Unnecessary. This becomes prajalpa. So we don't want to do that. Jalpa, prajalpa. So best is, if you look at, there's a picture of Srila Prabhupada in Radha Damodar. Right? He's sitting alone and he's looking at Rupa Goswami Samadhi and he's honoring and in a very meditative mood. Of course, I'm not saying when you all are in your family and you come from work and you haven't seen each other and you want to express your love and affection to one another during eating time, go ahead. I'm not stopping you all. But bear in mind to always don't talk unnecessary. That's the whole idea. Otherwise, you'll all end up being like robots or like look at each other and say, right? It won't work out. It won't be nice. Yeah. Give attention where attention is needed. Okay? Yeah. Be practical. Don't become too weird. Alright, number 7. Do not throw prasadam. And never touch prasadam with your feet, especially when you're serving, when people are sitting on the floor. Yeah, just be careful. The Krishna, prasadam is Krishna, so don't touch with your feet, it's offensive. Don't throw prasadam. Ideally, prasadam is never wasted because some entity will eat, even bacteria and so on, but the principle is we shouldn't think the mentality behind throwing prasadam is incorrect. Okay?
Even sometimes when you get like your back-to-back programs and you get a lot of prasadam in your house, it's just not possible for you to eat it while it's still fresh. So, and it's just because it's back-to-back events happening, so there's a lot of prasadam.
How many programs do you have in your home?
No, not in my home, but when you go somewhere else, or it's like back-to-back programs.
Yeah.
Sometimes it happens that there's a lot of pile-up of prasadam at
Where?
in the home. In the
How?
In the fridge.
No. Just trying to figure out. Okay, so you collect prasadam.
Yeah, and
But I already said, you know you have prasadam at home. No, why are you taking more? Or they pack for you?
yeah, so they got extra.
The host won't let you go home.
Yeah. The other day I asked the host for just a box of fruits. So they gave me a big bag. And I was thinking, how many fruits did they give me? So while we were in the car, there were all kinds of prasadam packed. Yeah, we are too enthusiastic to feed the whole world sometimes. Yeah. So in that case, do you make friends with your neighbors? And you do prasadam distribution.
Yeah, we try to do that.
Yeah.
But sometimes there are situations when we just don't have. So is it okay? So what to do of those? Because if the prasadam stays there for some time, basically the cooked one, it really gets spoiled. So in those cases, what should we do? Because it's unhealthy to eat and we don't want to throw it off. So what should be the approach in those cases?
Buy a cow. You come up with a situation where you say you have no control. That's not, I don't buy that, so figure it out. Yes.
Prabhu, sometimes the prasadam is off.
Yeah. If it's off,
There is a bush area.
you go to the bush.
Yeah, if it's off or something,
Yeah.
so we just put it in the bush so we know some living entity
Yes.
is there. Is that
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah. That's fine.
So other way we can in our home garden if we have plant there then we can.
Yeah, but then if you put too much, the rats will come. Yeah. Yeah.
I think the best way is we say that they are like I'm very careful taking prasadam back.
Yeah.
I know that my fish also have a big oversight.
Yeah.
I said, no, thank you very much. Really
Yeah, you can be strong, say that you don't want to take so much. Yes.
See, like now it has become a trend, like the no sugar, no maida, like these are not good for health. Even like foreigners also, they don't eat sweets which are too much sugar, especially when they taste Indian sweet, even though that sweet is totally sugary, but when they have Indian sweets, it's too sugar, it adds up to our calories. So can we offer it to, like when sugar is not good for health, can we offer it to Lord, and for Abhishekam can we use sugar?
Yeah, you can. The Lord doesn't need to go for medical check-up or what. The deities can eat like anything. We can't eat like that. You can offer them mountains. Mahaprabhu used to eat so much. We will get sick. Now, if you know that the devotees who don't like to eat sweets and so on, don't give them. Take it for yourself. Yeah. Yes. Can you speak? No, Ananga had a question.
I will ask on Mataji's behalf. So So Madhu is asking, like how you were saying before, that we should not buy bread, etc. from outside. When we have big events where you are expecting 500,000 more people to attend, it's not practical to cater for so many people. And on those occasions, sometimes like we buy bread from outside. So if we are selling in food stalls, is that still okay?
It's not the best prasadam standard, you know. How do you know even Krishna accepted it? So maybe it's not even prasadam that you're distributing. Why, if you're going to have a 1,000 people coming event, then maybe that menu should be changed, where you guys can do something that can fill the 1,000 thing without having to buy. Unless you have no cooks and then you're forced to do it, then that's okay. But my point is, come to the standard where you can do it everything. Yeah. If you can't, and really if you have, it's as simple like sandwiches you want to give. Yeah, I guess so. You can offer all the other stuff that you can make and put it in the bread. That should be okay.
Yeah, it's mainly the bread, like the bun.
Yes.
And sometimes
Rolls, you mean?
Yeah.
Come on, rolls are easy to make. Yeah, a few of the devotees, men also can learn how to make rolls. Yeah, if you have a big tray, right, you can do rolls 7 by 11, so 77 in a tray. So you can calculate, 10 trays, you got 770. It doesn't take much. Baking may take 20 minutes a tray, right? Yeah, so all you need is people willing to do it the day before, 2 days before, and then put it in the freezer or cooler, and then next, when the event starts, there you go. Yeah.
The only thing is that because small oven will take ages to make it 1,000.
Okay, let's invest in something.
That's why we need to invest in
Yes, invest. Yes. Stack ovens. Okay, there are ovens. Look, there are ovens you can use it, mobile ovens and so on. Anyway, you all do the research. Yeah, I don't know how it is in Australia. No, go.
That's okay, we'll get it in.
What's your question?
I was just wondering, about this prasadam touch with your feet. When we went to Puri and other places, where they have the they go on transporting the food, and we saw a lot of places where prasadam was filled. There's no way you can walk around because the food is filled all over, because they're just serving, and while serving they drop a lot of food.
Mm-hmm.
So in those cases, we were begging for
Yes,
forgiveness for the
that's
Lord,
right.
but it was really hard to do without touching.
Yeah, I understand. Those the Lord also knows you have no choice. It's only when you have a choice and you ignore it, then the Lord, he'll take revenge back. Okay, last question. Last question for this prasadam.
I had a question about Ekadashi.
Yeah.
So like on Ekadashi, because you know how, so we're not supposed to think about non-Ekadashi food on Ekadashi because it counts as eating. I've heard that somewhere. And then but are we allowed to like offer non-Ekadashi food to Krishna on Ekadashi?
Yes, Krishna can eat. He doesn't observe Ekadashi. Yeah. You can make cake, anything, and offer to Krishna, but just don't mix it with the non-Ekadashi item.
Yeah.
Like in our temple, we used to do that, but oftentimes devotees are so transcendental, they'll keep eating grains, sweet rice on Ekadashi. So then we decided everything we cook is Ekadashi, just to protect them. Yeah.
But like what I meant was like, because if we're not supposed to think about non-Ekadashi food on Ekadashi, then
There's nothing wrong.
nothing?
Nothing wrong. You are not supposed to think, but if you think what to do, you just pray and tell Krishna, I'm sorry, I'm thinking like this. You know, you cannot say that because I think I'm eating. In the previous yuga maybe, but not in Kali yuga. Okay. Important. Wash hands, feet and mouth before and after eating. Of course, if you are in anyway, let me leave the rest. At least wash your hands. In the Western countries, it may be difficult to wash your feet. But when you're in India, you should wash both your hands and feet before and after taking prasadam. Of course, you should wash your mouth. Wash for real, huh? Yeah, so like for example, winter time you wear socks and everything, and then you can't go and wet your socks, and then you walk around the temple with wet socks. It doesn't work. And or if you wet the front place and people walk and they slip and they fall, it's called, you're asking for lawsuit. Yeah. People will sue you for not keeping things clean or dry and protect ordinary people who come. Okay? But yeah, wash your hands, feet and mouth, this is hygiene. Otherwise you will contaminate what you are eating. Number 9, if you must drink a glass of water 1 hour before eating. For some time after eating, don't drink. If you at all have to drink something hot. This is Ayurveda. It's for digestion. Okay? But in Western countries, everyone likes to drink a glass of cold water, cold milk.
What about the DT program? Like once we work for the program, then program once get, we transfer to the other bowls. Then I heard that we should wash the dishes before we want to prasad.
Time, place and circumstances. Let's say you have a Janmashtami celebration, people are going back, you want to give them prasadam, right? As soon as it's put on the altar, the deity sees it, it's offered already. So if you have plenty of time at home and so on, wait until you feel there's something. Yeah. So just judge and see the circumstance. Okay? Can you read that? We should never waste Krishna prasadam. Best thing is to cook only what is required and give each person what he wants or she wants. That is Vedic system. That the people sit in rows behind their plates and the servers pass down the rows and put a very small portion of each foodstuff on each plate. Unless there is some objection by a person, then nothing is given. Then, if anyone wants more, the servers pass up and down the rows continually and give more. If anyone requests in this way, nothing is wasted and everyone is satisfied. Obviously, this is for sitting, and then there's service. But when you have to queue up and get, then you know how much you can eat. At least by now, after how many years you're living, you should know how much you can eat, right? Don't eat with your eyes, right? Sometimes we see we want more, but then our stomach is only so small. Actually, it is said that in Ayurveda, you should only eat how much you can hold in your hand, this palm, like that. Right? Now everybody is going to get very unhappy. It's not a lot. So.
What about in height?
You can hold. As long as you can hold it. So if you put chapatis that much, you can't eat anything. So you have to be realistic also. Yes, please.
I found one of the challenges is that when devotee is serving the prasadam in a queue, then more you know the devotees and devotee knows you, even though you say only little, they will serve you more because they want to.
Okay, then the problem is they are not trained. serving prasadam must be also trained. The devotees. So what you do is before the server goes, the leader of that team must say, this is a normal plate. This is how everyone should serve. If people want more, and if you have, you give. Like that. Yeah. Right? So there should be a model plate in front of the service. And then they can see, okay, this is how much. Now if somebody comes and takes the model plate, then you have to try. Then you come back and make another model plate.
Prabhu, what happens if... What happens if, like, you ask for the food, you got too much and you know you can't finish it? So what do you do?
Give it to your friend. Right? Yeah, they will need it. A friend in need is a friend indeed. Yeah, sometimes that's the problem is the service must be very observant and careful. They should say, how much you want and then give up. Yeah. Yeah. Mahaprasad. No wonder some parents are big. Place and circumstances. In this case, we are talking about sitting in rows. If you have tables and chairs, you should still invite them to sit, and then you serve by, as the word says, qualified devotees. Okay? So must be trained, otherwise you won't know how to serve, how much to serve. And in serving also, it's an art. You serve happily. Right? You don't go and say, oh no, this is the last samosa, I can't give. If you do that, then it's not a good thing to do. Yeah.
Sorry, one question. I heard somewhere that the devotee who is serving prasadam, they should own a prasadam first.
Yes.
So they don't feel like, I'm not going to have anything.
Yeah.
They want to.
So in Jagannath Puri, before they take the boga into the offering area, they have young boys. So the young boys are served first. They eat properly, and then they take all the boga into the cooking area or serve boga offering area. So yeah, if you can do that, go ahead. I think in Perth many years ago in the 1989, 1990, 91, that's how the cooks and the servers used to do that when we were in Barrack Street. But now I do not know how it's done.
And what about taking the bus before?
The bus should be at the end. After everyone has eaten, then at the end the bus should come out. Yes.
Prabhu, also like on Sunday feast, usually, all of us kids are usually inside, or because we're dancing Gaurati and stuff.
Yeah.
But then prasadam starts during Gaurati, but then by the time we stay the whole Aarti, Nrsimha is finished, we go outside to take prasadam, but it's like almost nothing left.
Okay, then this must be carefully evaluated. That means some prasad must be kept aside for the dancing youth. Youth, they eat double, So maybe, yeah, this is important. That's what we do also in our temple. That was a problem also, so the servers keep away some, and then they only serve what they have, and the rest that are kept for those who are in kirtan and dancing, they come later, they get prasad. So it should be, it can be done. Because what happens is if you are so much in ecstasy and don't want to come and eat, people will take their dabbas and come out. And you lose out. And that's one thing. The other thing is, you can have a time limit for kirtans and so on, and say, if you don't come by this time to take prasadam, you don't complain anymore. So that way, because people want to also go home, serve and go wash pots and so on. So it must be practical also. We can limit our ecstasy or ecstatic symptoms to a lesser degree, yeah? Or you appoint one or two of the kirtanias or to go and make your plates. There's so many ways you can address those things. Yeah? Right? Okay. Service should be clean, peaceful, and satisfied. So yeah. So maybe they should eat and come. Right? And should be clean also. Wash their hands, mouth, or wear a mask or whatever. Peaceful. Peaceful means when you serve, you should smile. Right? At least wish them Hare Krishna, please. How are you today? Don't talk forever. I don't know. Last week we met you, I forgot. You come around, And then the other say, hey, I'm waiting. Right? I've seen that also. Yeah, sometimes we become too insensitive. 3. Serve the correct amount. So again, the emphasis is serving properly. You can identify before serving how much per plate, and then this makes it much more easier. Householders should serve the guests according to their statuses. So it depends. Sannyas, brahmanas, children, and then everyone else. Because householders are supposed to serve the others. Why is that? Because grahastas are the economy, and the sannyasi, vanaprastha, brahmacharis, they don't have anything, so they depend on the grahastas. So that's why this statement is there. Water must be served first. So I don't know how you manage here, but probably you can't carry the water in the line, so it should be at the end of the line, and they can take the water, or they can put the plate down and come and pick the water up, which may be much more reasonable, right? Otherwise they could spill everything here.
So earlier they were saying you should drink anything before 1 hour before the prasadam.
Yes.
After. So
Yeah.
what's the
rationale for this? If you choke, if you eat and choke, then you have to know the Heimlich method, right? Who knows first aid here? Only 1, 2. So every time there should be one person there who knows how to do some first aid. Okay? So identify, if not, those who don't know, go for this training, Heimlich method. If there's something stuck, you can, teenagers and all, you all should learn. Practice on devotees, yeah. Okay, so yeah, water is there just in case you can't swallow and so on. Okay. Condiments should be served before main prasadam is served. This is when you're sitting down, like achar and all those things, salt, chili. Like if you invite people to your home, you have the condiments in a separate katori or something like that. Yeah? Otherwise, there's no need. But in general, like lemon, right? Some people like more salt, some people like some more spicy chili, lemon, salt in a special, and then achar and stuff like that. Okay. Serve according to the order in formal settings. Order here means what goes first on the plate. Here the word is formal. That means people are sitting and then you serve according. For example, in Bengali style, the first thing they give you is bitter stuff. In Gujarati is sweet, yes. Yeah. In South Indian, they have achar and stuff like that. They do that. Yeah. So, according to the cuisine you're serving, Italian, they give you soup and then bread and then pasta and then whatever they come. Yeah. So you have to think what style you're serving. So accordingly, you say Punjabi also they have their standards. So if you have a formal setting, even in like for example, maybe in your temple you're going to do an end of the year for all the Bhakti Vriksha paste. So you can have a cuisine, you all identify, and then you do it very nicely, book a hall and then do it classically. People will like, wow, this is so cool. Like that. Okay? Second should be served until everyone is satisfied. But first we have to get through the first. Okay? Then we can talk about seconds and thirds. So you cannot have second dinner and third dinner until everyone has taken first. Serving utensils should not touch the eating plates. Now I've seen this, a lot of devotees don't know this. When you serve, don't touch the plate. Otherwise the serving spoon becomes contaminated, then you have to wash it. So try to be very careful, but that doesn't mean you don't want to touch, you put the dal from this height. Yeah, we're practical also. Right? Yes.
What happens if by some accident, let's say the rice or something gets contaminated? Does the chef have to give that all to the bacteria and make a new whole pot of rice? Or can you still serve that same?
If it's contaminated, then you check with the head or the temple president what to do.
So pretend the spoon touched the
Plate of the other
and
one.
then it went back into the
Went into bag. Yeah, so this is what I mean. You're going to ask the temple president what to do. Shall we throw it or distribute it? Because I don't want to say it. Okay? Yeah. Yes.
Regarding that utensil should not touch the eating plate, even though it's a fresh plate, should not even touch the plate.
Yeah, you should practice not touching it. Because by habit then you will touch it. Right or not? Yeah, so in all circumstances you shouldn't touch the plate. Okay, do not touch anything with your fingers. It's not proper. If someone's food is there, you won't touch. Or you're serving, you use your hand and touch. The people will think, where did these fingers go before it came here? So you never know, right? Sometimes you see people licking their finger, and then finger licking good. So you should be very careful. Yes.
How important is wearing gloves? Because I heard one devotee, one Muslim devotee was mentioning that the finger got whatever the oils which is antiseptic, which comes out of it naturally, which is actually more antiseptic than using the gloves.
Well, we may know all these things, but the common person may not know these things. For them, it's contamination. And then the doctors and so on will also, the scientists will say, our hands, even if you wash, it's not as clean as when you wear a glove, with all the...
Sitting in the box for years.
Yes, so that's how it is. So you have to at least follow some rules, that is practiced in the city or the country that you are in. Don't unnecessarily, attract the wrong attention, the health department and so on.
So regarding wearing masks, when you serve, people talking to his chancellor.
Yes, that's a good practice if you can implement that. So if not, then just don't talk so much. Again, never touch prasad with your feet or step over it because it's Krishna, so it's offensive. Serve from the serving containers, not from the actual deity pots or cooking pots. Okay? You should also practice at home also. Try to transfer before you serve. Because we become lazy sometimes. And we don't want to do it. And then that habit you pass it on to your children and then they think that's okay. And then again a new meditation. Do not drag serving containers on the floor, right? Sometimes it's too heavy. You give a little boy who's 5, 6 years old to serve, and the guy is dragging all over the place. Right? Have you seen that? Yeah. Drink and so on. Clean tables or floor after everyone has honored Prashadam. Do we do that? We have a team, right? So have a team to do that. Yeah, so before you come, the place is clean. After you leave, the place should be clean. Same thing in your home. So don't leave pots in the sink. You know, husband or wife, whoever sees you, clean it. Even in the temple kitchen also. Don't leave it there because you are inviting bugs, pests, cockroaches and so on. And you wonder why we cannot get rid of the cockroaches. Right? And they will say, poor living entities, they also need Sunday faces. But we should be clean. Baba wanted the standard. Okay, any comments? Any other questions? Okay. Then the next one, I won't touch that. What I'll do is...
Just one last thing.
Yes.
The prasadam comes to the Lord, obviously it's covered so that people can't see.
Yes.
And when it's offered, when it goes back, it is still covered.
Yes, you should be covered. But the right standard is you don't mix it with the others, actually.
Like
Normally what many people do is they mix it. Because the prasadam is Mahaprasadam.
Yes.
Yeah, then once it's offered, all that becomes prasadam. But Mahaprasadam is the plate. Yeah. Generally that's it. But then if you eat it, then it becomes Mahaprasadam. Yeah. But that is the right standard. But if you want to mix it and give, it's not really recommended. But yeah, you can do that.
just like when we go to Vrindavan, so
They sell the thali.
Vegetable around.
Yes, that is Mahaprasad.
And then that's not mixed with.
They never mix, yeah.
That's distributed.
Yes.
To whoever. That's Maha.
Yes. Because it comes direct from the Lord's feet.
So not necessary to mix it.
Not necessary.
Because there is I think if we mix it with a big pot and there is a chances of the waste as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. But I've seen also Mahaprasad also nobody touched sometimes. Everyone is rushing and doing everything. Okay.
One time I suggested one samosa from the offering place after the offering fell down. So in that case, generally they said the prasada never becomes
Contaminated. Yeah.
So you can give to the guest or
No, you can take it. It depends on your faith. How strong your faith is. So some devotees I've seen, they can even eat prasadam that has gone bad, they can eat and they're doing well. And some devotees cannot do that. So it all depends on your faith, how strong your faith is. But of course, if the puri falls on the floor, you can take it and blow it, dust it, and then you can still eat the puris. I mean, especially if pizza falls on the ground, I think 10 people will run for it. They'll fight for it. I've never seen anyone refuse even a burnt pizza yet. Okay, let me see. etiquette in public. So this is a classic verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Yad yada chariti swastas tatateva taro janaha tahyad pramanam gurute lokastat anuvartite. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. If you are a leader, everyone is watching you. You could be a leader, or like the temple president, or you could be a leader of the groups, Bhakti Vriksha group, or you could be a leader helping some project in the temple. So the people who are following you, they are looking at you, and they are learning something from you. So the standard you are setting is important. Right? So the same way, when you behave in a certain fashion, your children are looking at you. And they're learning from you, observing you, right? So it's very important. You have to consider these points very carefully. Most people who come, who are new, they don't know many things. They don't know what the standard is. And so if you don't maintain your standard, then they'll learn the bad things. And then years later, it's very hard to teach. Old dog, new tricks. So therefore, right, learn the right standards and then you can help others very nicely. And remember, always remember that you are representing Srila Prabhupada. So if you do anything wrong in our society, they'll blame Srila Prabhupada. Right? They'll say, Prabhupada never taught you all this, that's why you're doing like this. So therefore we have to be very conscious and very careful what we say and how we act. But Srila Prabhupada never compromised the absolute truth. That means we never minimize the position of Krishna, the philosophy and so on. We will not. However, he was always the perfect gentleman. This is Krishna consciousness. That means your behavior is very important. This is Vaishnava Etiquette. Yes.
When Prabhupada was preaching, he always put Krishna in the forefront line. No matter who is speaking to, he always emphasized it. I can understand, but nowadays we see so many devotees who may not even speak once about Krishna and preaching. Is it okay to with the time place, or
let's say you are in the Middle East, then you have to be careful how you preach. So depends on where you are at in terms of preaching. But we are talking about, let's say here in this country, that we shouldn't compromise our philosophy or Srila Prabhupada or the deities. Yes.
I was just thinking, if Krishna eats prasadam, and if Krishna...
No, Krishna eats the bhoga we offer, and he becomes
Krishna
prasadam.
eats the bhoga, then wouldn't he be eating also?
That is called Achinta Veda Veda Tattva. It means simultaneously the same and different at the same time. It is inconceivable, achintya. Okay? With our present intelligence, we cannot figure that out. But as we practice more and more Krishna consciousness, you will find that that's so amazing. Krishna is so cool. He can be the bhoga, he can be the prasadam, and he's enjoying himself. Only Krishna can do. That's why he is Govindam Adi Purusha. Yes, Prabhu.
So Prabhu asked this question about regarding, Prabhu asked this question regarding Srila Prabhupada never compromised the philosophy, but the answer he also gave, which is that it's not, we have to see who the audience is. I mean, if it's Western audience, they don't know anything about Krishna, we're not going to straight away talking about Krishna. We talk about general stuff, maybe to the principles of morality, and then slowly get them to the level of Krishna conscious when they can digest. Because if you go straight to that, they will not be able to digest and they'll leave. So that's right, because we have a lot of preachers and they do indirect preaching, and so many people criticize them, which I think is completely wrong because they are catering to a different audience. You know, like for example, Srila Prabhupada used to go for a morning walk. There's an old lady came. He didn't say Hare Krishna, he said good morning, just to connect with that lady so that she's favorable in a way. Is that correct understanding?
Yeah. You have to see your audience, for sure. It's like anyone walks through the door, you can't immediately go and say, are you following the four regulated principles? You can't do that, right? It's meaningless. So yeah, you have to see carefully.
I think it was more like in a personal level when you're speaking to a person,
Yeah.
person to person, then you try to come to that level and have the connection. But when you're talking in a media or in a big audience, Srila Prabhupada, I don't think he ever was sort of keep Krishna at the back seat and talk all the other
Yeah, for example, if you go on the ABC News or 7 or 9, right, 10, if they interview you, then you can talk about Krishna. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when anyone writes an article, he doesn't read the article, he sees how many times Krishna is present. So yeah, but don't get so worked up about all this. You see your audience, then you speak to them. But like for example, if you, let's say they tell you, come to the Australian, what is the Independence Day or whatever you have, National Day, Australian, and they ask you to give a talk, then just say who Krishna is. There's nothing wrong. You can say we understand God is Krishna. God has many names, one of these names is Krishna, like that. So people will say, oh okay, he has a name. It's the way you say it. You know, some of us may be very articulate in the way we say it. Some of us are not so, we can't speak properly. So accordingly, we think those who articulate, they are the best, so we send them to speak.
So my question was more related to the devotees preaching in India, where most of the audience could be the Hindus or at least following the religious, and still everything else than Krishna. That's where my
as I mentioned, place, circumstances, you should know. And then, anyway, talk to the preaching team, and then you all can decide how you want to do it. Okay. So, Srila Prabhupada would want us to deal with people the way we would like them to deal with us. Right? So the way you speak to a person, how do you expect them to feel? Someone new who comes, right? They should feel comfortable. You should make them feel happy to be here. When they walk into this temple room, they should say, wow, these people are so wonderful. I want to come again. The experience is so divine. So therefore we should be able to deal with them in such a way that they feel so happy, like a family member. Next thing is, we all should try to be like Srila Prabhupada. Of course, we cannot be exactly like Prabhupada, but the more you read about Prabhupada, read his conversations, you hear his conversation video and see how he behaves and how he acts, it's always important. Because remember, we are always representing the Prabhupada, and we should know we need to develop a single-minded determination to think, speak, and act like Prabhupada. And the only way you can do that is you read Prabhupada's books. Okay? The only way is you have to read Prabhupada's books. Hear his classes and lectures. It's not going to be easy otherwise. Okay. Next one is understand that we are all part and parcel of Krishna. Right? So what does it mean? Anyone who walks through that door, we should know that this person is also Krishna's. devotee. Not that we are separate and they are different, we can't treat them like that. All of us have to come to understand that. Because our business is to reawaken their Krishna consciousness. Yes, that is our business. Okay? Now remember also, everyone, including Krishna, is watching us. So whatever you do, there's so many people, they're looking at you. They're seeing what you are saying, how you behave and so on. Now on top of that, Krishna is also watching you. Alright? So it's very important to remember that. Although you may think nobody is watching you, somebody is. If nobody is watching you, maybe there's cameras here in the temple room taking picture of you. Next. Sankirtan is the most effective method to awaken Krishna consciousness. So the devotee should be very concerned to distribute, checking yourself with them. Mostly we have problems and people think, oh, this is my person. They cannot go anywhere else. It's mine. Okay, exchange number, I will contact you, don't contact anyone else. You know? And then it causes a lot of problems. So we shouldn't be thinking like that. We should not do that. Our whole idea is to awaken their Krishna consciousness. That's all. Whoever is sitting here, if you are able to talk to a person, your goal should be how can I connect them to Krishna? Either you give a book or you give them prasadam, like that. Yeah? So think like that. And you should be always be, when you talk to people, sometimes they can be arrogant, but you must always be humble and tolerant. No choice. So never lose your temper in the public. Right? You get angry, then you lose your temper, you start fighting. Boom, boom, boom. Instead of thinking Hare Krishnas are nice people, they think these guys are all really crazy guys. Right? So be very careful how you behave, because everyone else is watching. And then this last one is don't eat, discuss or relax in public places. Like they will think, we are going around collecting, distributing books and so on, and then all of a sudden they watch you in public places eating and having fun and so on. Then they think these guys don't even work. And then they are collecting, and then now they are enjoying their life. People don't like that. They are paying tax and so on, so they don't like to see lazy people. They don't know that we get up 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, come and do all these things. But they only see how we behave. So therefore you should be very careful, especially if you are wearing tilak and then going there, lying there in the public, sleeping and doing things that may not be to the standard Prabhupada wants us to. Yes.
About like relaxing in public places. I was just thinking about how a lot of like our old devotees here, like their families, like they kind of think the temple is sort of, I guess, a second home. So like they relax more here.
Yeah.
So then I guess to the public we may seem a bit crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking that like, does that mean we also, especially like on Sunday feast, we should focus more on our, like when we're talking and interacting with each other, focus on how our impression is being given off to newer.
That's what Vaishnava Etiquette, public etiquette is. They should see us as wonderful people, not loafers, right? And not taking advantage. So we shouldn't send those kind of signals. Sometimes people want to have a good group of people, they want to build some kind of relationship, but when we behave in the way that they don't subscribe to, then they will think this is not what I want. And then instead of becoming Krishna conscious, we are actually chasing them away.
Also another thing, again regarding Sunday feast, since there's more newer people and they're watching us, does that mean we should focus more on like preaching on Sunday feast and stuff?
Yeah,
because
that's the whole idea.
Because like we're usually inside in class and then straight after class and there's arti, so we're inside the whole time and then you people go outside when prasadam starts.
Okay, then your preaching should be some people are inside, some should be outside. Take turns, not everyone has to be in the arti. Once a week they come and they must be in the arti. Come, there's 7 days a week you can come and see the arti. So, some devotees should take rotation. Some stay outside. If they see new people, they should preach to them. Jai, Jai, right? Yeah. So take turns. So this Sunday I will stay outside and preach to new people. Next Sunday you take turns. So be effective then. All right. Then the next lesson is on correcting others. Yeah. This everybody wants to do this. Okay. Go around correcting people. Difference between criticism and correction. There's a difference. Devotee means he's able to tolerate all kinds of discomfort and the way the material nature energy works. And because he's always absorbed in serving Krishna, he has no time to become angry, right? Or take offense. That's a devotee. He's too busy preaching, so he has no time for anything, or he has no time to even find out faults. That's a devotee. Prabhupada says devotees are actually very liberal and kind to everyone. And he even wrote a letter to Hansadutta. Devotees are gentlemen and gentle ladies. Okay. So what is the difference between criticism and correction? When you criticize, you do it out of envy. Okay, so what happens is your heart gets polluted. Okay, your heart gets polluted and then you cannot think straight. And what does it mean? It impedes your spiritual advancement. You cannot make advancement. Not possible when you become critical of devotees. To correct a devotee, one must be, before that, remember, harsh words, when you try to correct people, you should say it in such a way that it's palatable for the person listening, or acceptable. But you can't have harsh words so strong that you actually, instead of correcting them, they may be a very sincere person. But what happens is, instead of correcting and getting rid of the ignorance, we actually get rid of the person. Right? What? Correct or not? Instead of getting rid of the ignorance that a person has, we want to help them, but we are so angry, we say it hurts them, and they go away. And they say, sayonara. I won't come back again. Yeah. So therefore, harsh words and actions are not part of correction. Okay? If sincere criticism is given, then the person can understand, oh, this person is trying to help me correct the mistakes I'm doing. But if it comes out very harshly, then the person also can feel the harshness, right? Because if please don't do this, look what will happen. I'll say, hey, please, why are you doing this? immediately you feel already disturbed. Or in front of everyone, the person gets so disturbed. Rather, let's say someone is making a bad mistake, you don't publicly correct them, you wait until the end, call them aside, and then you punch them. No. Call them aside and you talk nicely. Right? You tell them nicely, look, this is not how you do it, and then they will understand, yes. And if someone is giving a good reason why we are wrong, then we shouldn't react negatively. We should accept, no, this person is trying to help me. So again, humility is important. Tolerance is important. Your Vaishnava quality must come out. Now if your ego is so bad, then it's going to affect you, then you need to go really think about it. Get your Siksha Gurus, write your Guru Maharaj and say, I'm feeling like this, I need help. Okay? And they can kindly help you overcome this problem that you have. Our role as devotees is to help, to raise the consciousness. Yeah. So that Prabhupada said, right? Make everyone as perfect, gentleman and lady. Yeah. So that's our goal. So if you want to correct someone, you must not be envious of that person or envious of anyone. You have to look in your heart. You're like, oh, that person's doing wrong, I'm going to get it. And as you walk towards them, you think, I hate this person. Then you better turn around and tell someone who has a better relationship with them and say, please help this person. Yeah. That's the right thing to do, because your good intention in trying to speak to them may come out in the wrong way. Right? It has happened to all of us in our lives. So we should be very aware of our own nature. If you know yourself, then you can help so many people as well as yourself. That's very important. Okay, so don't be envious. Work on that. The second thing is desirous to help in Krishna consciousness. That means you want to help them in their Krishna consciousness. I want to help them. If you're very sincere and you do that, then you won't come across very harsh. You'll think, how can I connect with them? How can I help with them? Right? It's a natural thing. If you want to help someone, you think of ways to connect with them. You do it in a favorable way. And if that person don't like you, then you don't do it directly. You go through a third party or fourth or whatever and tell them they need this help.
When we are obviously aspiring to be devotee in terms of what qualities you have mentioned, but sometimes you are given a role in either service or anything when you have to be a little bit strict. As you said, obviously try to be as humble, as clear, and sometimes not try to hurt, as you said, not try to drive the person away. But sometimes in your service or your duties, you have to be a little bit strict in some actions. At that point of time, and if the other person is not ready to receive that service, because you are having two roles, one as a devotee as well as one who is doing that service to please Krishna. The intention is to please Krishna, but at the same time you have to be a little strict. So how to keep a balance between them?
With great difficulty. Yeah. Because it's a very difficult situation. For example, let's say you are that's serving prasadam and you have to make the line move, right? And some people are very slow, and then you say, move, and then they'll take it in the wrong way. But then you know you haven't done anything wrong. So you shouldn't feel so bad about it. And say, then you can smile at them and say, please, we need to move more people like that. There may be difficult other scenarios also, but the goal is you shouldn't lose your Krishna consciousness, you shouldn't lose your temper. Don't get angry. If the person is unwilling to do it, then you cannot push. You cannot think, I have to do this, push this. Maybe you can't. Then you say, okay, Prabhu, thank you, but this is, you can review the whole event and say, look, this is what happens if you don't do this, and I'm very unhappy that you're not doing this, but, I'm not going to push anymore. I'm going to go and take care of my duty like that. Sometimes you can't do it. Sometimes it's just, the other person is waiting to fight. Then what can you do? So you have to be very intelligent also. If the person is wanting you to come and fight with them, then you don't give them that fodder. Yeah.
But at the same time, like as you give the example, right? Food serving management, if there's something, they're not breaking the line or moving or something like that. And if you don't be discipline them or be strict with them, then what happens is, okay, you say, okay, that person is in a mood to fight, ignore that person. But that person breaks the rules, but that...
Listen, the thing is, at that point you can't do anything. Right? After the person has taken the plate or what, the temple president or the vice president can sit with the person and tell the person, if you can't follow this, then you're not welcome. That's the extreme. But the point is, they can talk. You don't have to be the one, doing it. In India, you go, big lines, people are rude, they take stick and beat them, and everyone accepts that. They say, oh, the panda is beating, it's okay. So over here, people jump up and down and say, I'll take you to court and so on. So you have to act differently also. So then you say, it's okay, you go ahead for now. I'll talk to our temple president or vice president, then they can come and sit and talk. Yeah. Or you can even take a video of that person doing it, Be nasty. That's a harsh one. Yeah. But usually, by talking nicely, most people can relate to and they may change their behavior. And number 3, in a spiritual or managerial authority. So you cannot correct a person if you are not in either of these positions. Okay? If you are just an ordinary devotee, then don't take the position of correcting someone. You must be managerially in a superior position or spiritually in a superior position. Then you can correct. So what happens if you see something wrong? You don't go and correct. You? Get someone who is a spiritual authority or manager and say, look, this is the situation. Please address the issue. And then you are not anymore in trouble. And finally, if the person comes to you and say, please, you're my best friend, you please help me. I have this problem. Again, you have to re-evaluate your own situation when you're dealing with someone who is requesting you. Maybe you can give a good answer, or maybe you can't. Or maybe you have a good reason or a good answer, but that answer may not be what they want to hear from you. So you have to know that person very well also. So generally, don't immediately think you have the answer. Always say, let me come back, let me think about it. Yeah. Is it okay? Can I have a day or two to think about it? Yeah. So don't be like a Superman, or Wonder Woman, to think you can fix everything. Right? Your answer may be perfect, but the person is not perfect. And therefore they cannot hear what you're saying. Okay? Is the classic practice what you preach. If you want to tell someone not to do something, make sure you are not doing it also. The classical example I think Prabhupada gives is a case of a woman who, I've mentioned this before, a woman had a son who was a little boy, I think like 5 years old, and he was eating sweets all the time. The mother wants to give him the nice prasadam and he refused to, only sweets. And he screams when she doesn't give. So she brought to the village guru. And then she told the village guru, you know, my son doesn't want to eat anything, but he's always eating sweet. He doesn't listen to me. Please correct him, you know. And the boy was looking like that, very afraid. So the guru looked at the boy and looked at the mom and said, come back in 1 month. And the mom said, okay. So 1 month later they came back, the mother brought the boy, and then she came up to the guru and then said, you know, I've come back in 1 month, my son is eating sweet. Then the guru stood up angrily with the face, don't you eat sweet anymore. You understand? The boy, yes, guru. And then the mother was confused. Then she told the kid, okay, now you go outside, I'll come. She turned to the guru and said, why, you could have told this 1 month ago. Why did you say it now? Then he looked at her and said, Mata, 1 month ago I was eating so much sweets. And I didn't have the heart to say, don't eat sweet to the boy. So you have to practice when you want to preach. Yeah. You have to know yourself very well. Otherwise it doesn't work. Now when an advanced devotee corrects other person, one should see it as a blessing or mercy. Yeah. But are we ready to think like that? Someone who's senior, who's really, you know this person is good, and if they correct and your ego comes up, your ego rears its ugly head, what can you do? Then you have to reanalyze your own situation. Go and talk to some devotees who are your well-wishers, who can help you understand your nature better, and then maybe correct yourself. Yes?
About the practice what you preach, so like it could be like in any scenario, and let's say someone told you have to do something, but then you know they're not doing it in the first place, and you're like, why should I do it?
Yeah.
So should you is it okay to not do it?
Not doing it, okay, not doing it. No, when I was very young in my devotional service, I saw things like that, and I wrote a letter to my spiritual master. Then he said, yes, you know, they may be like that, the senior devotees, but why don't you set an example? So he said, you go ahead and do it properly, so, you know, that way you make advancements. So then I was thinking about it, and yeah, actually that's true. Why find faults? Yeah. So then that's the answer for you. Do it. And you make advancement, because Krishna is watching you also. Yeah. Don't worry about it. You should, the way we see it's an opportunity to do service for Krishna. That person may not want to do it, he's setting a bad example. But I have an opportunity to get closer to Krishna. I'm going to go back to Godhead faster than that person, if that person is not doing properly. Yeah? Yeah, so these are some things we have to practice so that we will act spontaneously instead of thinking, using our intelligence to figure out this person is not doing, I shouldn't do also. That's a wastage of your intelligence. You can't sharpen your intelligence spiritually like that. But rather, by taking immediate action on that service, your intelligence is spiritually enhanced. Yeah? You make tremendous advancement. Okay. There are methods of correction. There's, I think, 3 ways. By personal example and association. So be an example. Do things that others will look and say, wow, that's a good person. I want to be like that devotee. Yeah. Right? You want to emulate these devotees' actions. And that's positive. Yeah. And then you can associate nicely. Guide to an advanced devotee. That means maybe you can answer, maybe you can help them, better an advanced devotee take care of it. Right? The problem could be complicated. You may have the resources, but you are a new devotee or a younger, junior devotee, you should always tell them, please go and see senior devotee. Yeah.
Just when I was one guy, I see 2 years. Every time he came 9:30 in the restaurant, and when offering down, and he immediately go, 5 times go to eat once a day, and the same time. The same pot, right in 20 minutes, this one other spoon, go directly go to pot, main pot. You're not going to Ban Mary in the Ban Mary there, they are not, never take. You always come in the main kitchen, main pot, every time. How to do?
How to do? I think Sitaram will do something.
He never did.
He is humble, but he'll talk to the person. Yeah. This is a management issue.
When you talk, you become very angry.
Yeah, I know. There are people like that. Then we should cut their pay and so on. Alright, so you always guide to an advanced person who can handle the situation better than you can sometimes. So we should always think like that. We should not always think, I can solve it. You know? If the circumstances is such that you are the only one there, then you should take a humble position and think that Krishna wants me to be involved in this situation. And that way you pray to Srila Prabhupada and to your spiritual master, say, give me the intelligence that I can help this person. And if you help, you don't think you are the cause of that help. You should think, Krishna gave me this intelligence. I have nothing to do with this. You know? Yeah. Alright? And then the third one is, again, a junior devotee should not correct a senior devotee, although the senior devotee may be wrong. No, what to do? What should you do? Yeah, go to another senior devotee to say, I saw this, I got the video proof, and you please take care of this problem. Yeah. That's how it is.
It's my humble, but my kind of observation is that higher the senior devotees are, very less chance that anything will be done to a situation that man will be asked to. Because they are so humble that they don't see that we see.
It's a possibility, but you know, over the years, you're also getting older, you're also getting advanced. So then you take the role and you tell those other devotees, senior devotees, say, you know, I will take this role of correcting or so on. You know. So then you all can also have teams who are in charge of certain things, and within a community, people can come to you, just like you have Vaishnava care, right? So similarly, you can also have management teams that can help in different areas, how to help people, how to correct people properly and so on. This is basically an education that is missing. Once people know how to approach other devotees, then you have less and less issues. Okay. Again, harsh words and actions. We don't, no place in correcting a sincere person. We can't. We want to destroy the ignorance in the heart of the devotee. We do not want to destroy the devotee himself. So, and finally, we should be grateful for honest criticism. One more. Everything is a the good and the bad. Yeah.
About the harsh words and actions. So like, if there was like a senior devotee who like, if they were like, maybe you did something wrong by accident and they were like really mad at you and they might have said something harsh, then can you tell them directly that next time this happens, please don't talk like that, or like tell them that you didn't feel happy, or do you go to another senior devotee and then that senior devotee tells them?
It depends on your relationship with that person. The person who has been harsh with you. So if you have a relationship, but at that moment they were very harsh, then maybe you wait until when they are cooler, and then you can approach and say, sit with them and say, and they're nicely talking to you. Then you say, you know, when you did that, it hurt me. And I would wish you would say it in a nicer way. If you don't have the courage, then maybe you can write it down as a letter and then give it to them. But if those two things don't work, then you can always approach another devotee who's closer to that devotee to talk to them. Yeah. Sometimes people may unknowingly or in that heat of the moment say something and they may regret also. Yeah. They may feel bad for the rest of their life. So we should always be sometimes kind also. But which is why I say no harsh words and actions. We should not. You will regret using that. Okay. Then be a responsible devotee. Always be responsible for everything that you do. Okay? Be responsible. If you do something, be responsible for it. Don't put the blame on someone else or anyone. Don't say, because I came here earlier, this and that, and nobody was here. So don't be responsible. If you need to find out, call. Everyone has cell phone. Even a baby has cell phone nowadays. So they all can call and tell people. Okay? So we'll stop for today at this lesson. Comments, questions? Yes, bro.
Why in Kali Yuga people are very sensitive?
The question is why in Kali Yuga people are sensitive? Why does someone they are unfortunate. That's what the problem is. That's the nature. We all took birth here because we all are as fortunate. But we can't say that because we have Krishna consciousness now. Srila Prabhupada has given us this good fortune. Why? Because of lack of training, lack of belief, and also not following the rules and regulations, not practicing etiquette properly, and so therefore we become sensitive. We develop ego, false egos, instead of developing the true ego. What is our true ego? Servant. So the mood should always be to serve. False ego means I'm the master, I'm the controller. Therefore, it's an incompatible situation when two parties are thinking they are controlling. Therefore, they are unhappy.
Like if I talk about like 30 years ago, parents or uncles or even like the neighbors, they just scold the other children and they are okay. But nowadays, very sensitive.
The jivas taking birth nowadays are different. As Kali Yuga progresses, everyone is getting less and less qualified. But as practicing devotees in this movement, we are helping people to become qualified. That's the whole thing. So, although you see people are lacking in certain qualities, you should have compassion for them. Pray for them. Right? By doing that, you become very humble also and tolerant. Yes, sir.
So in our ISKCON, a lot of senior devotees are writing books. What are the etiquettes of Sadhaka, whether they can promote their books in the temple or they cannot? Because we should always, Prabhupada's book is on the front. So if they in the temple hall, after the class, they can promote their books?
They can promote their books, no problem. But the thing is, the people who buy must practice reading Prabhupada's books. Right? You should read Prabhupada's book at least. Bhagavad Gita minimum you should read 3 times before you go and read other books. If you don't know the philosophy properly, then you won't understand the mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada.
one more question. So, Prabhu, this Vaishnava Sadachara etiquette is very important for the congregation and especially for the new devotees or even for the practicing devotees. Is GBC is planning to have a formal course like IDC sort of thing?
I don't know. We can write to GPC and ask.
Because I can see a lot of temple has courses like the Vaishnava Sadachara.
Yeah. So maybe who's in charge of the education here, we can talk to them and then we can come up with the Vaishnava Sadachara course. Yeah.
And whatever you have shown is a part of that Vaishnava Sadachara?
Yes, this is from that. Yeah. Yes.
Regarding etiquette again, so when we have to be when we have to deal with people, we have to be tolerant to their actions or whatever. If you're a person who doesn't see eye to eye with them in the first place, is it better to just still respect them as a devotee but keep your distance from them?
Yes.
So you don't have to personally interact that much.
Yeah, and at the same time, you should also observe and see their good qualities, and over time, maybe you won't feel that way with them, and you can connect with them. Maybe at this time, for some unforeseen circumstances, you couldn't connect with them eye to eye, and then maybe over the years, you watch them, how nice they are actually, and you may want to connect with them.
And also, again, regarding this, I know a few cases of devotees who may have clashed with another devotee, and then they just totally don't associate with anyone, and they just practice at home. So, can you elaborate more on devotee association, its importance?
It's sad when you go home and all alone with no other friends or devotees and not associating. It's sad. If you go to the spiritual world, all the devotees are only associating with one another to please either Mahaprabhu or Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani. So, what does it mean? If I remove myself from devotee association, stay at home thinking I can practice myself, means I don't understand the philosophy. One of the key things Rupa Goswami mentioned in Nectar Instruction is Sato Vrite, right? Sadhu Sangha, Sato Vrite. So that means we have to have association. I may not be able to associate with one person, but I may be able to associate with someone in the crowd. There's somebody I must be able to. If not in this city, must be in another city. I can do it by WhatsApp, I can do it by phone calls or through Zoom or whatever. But I can find another association. Yeah? So in all circumstances, we should be able to find a group of devotees, like-minded devotees, who we can connect and improve our own consciousness. The ultimate way you will understand you have improved is that you can associate with everyone else at the end of the day. Because Krishna loves each and every one of us. And we can't go to the spiritual and say, Krishna, you like that person, I can't associate. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Yeah. So you have to become intelligent enough to realize I have an issue also. I have a problem. And I need to have a shrink to help me out. Yeah. Okay?
Guru Maharaj, on the last slide you had that we should not be sitting in parks and lying down and all. So sometimes we have sit down harinams in Hyde Park and other places. So should that, and after the harinam we do serve prasadam, and others are welcome to take as well, but mostly it's devotees. So should that be avoided as well because it is in public setting?
Yeah, so you have to be very careful how you all sit and eat, But after eating, you're just falling down, then that sense of that signal. But if you all do it nicely, all clean the place and so on, and people are watching you, if you do it properly and leave the place clean or cleaner, then it's okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay then. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.